You know what? This guy is a mainstay so often on this channel that writing a new funny quip about him for literally the 5th time is a bit too much. So just take an amalgamation of my favorites over the past month of disgracing the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon that we will never grow to love. Red MD is back, and it's still not better. To summarize, you need Red Eyes Darkness Dragon, ew, a specific trap card that's worse than Metal Morph in every way, and Red MD in hand to bring it out. And all you get is the same stat buff and minor levels of spell negation and protection that Guardian Kaiest is laughing at and calling weak. You know you're horrid when a Guardian monster would laugh at you for your spell protection and proceed to bonk you upside the head with her staff like she's Rafiki. Not to mention it needs you to, in order, summon Red Eyes Black Dragon, tribute it for Red Eyes Darkness Dragon, equip a terrible trap to it, and then tribute that amalgamation for Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Thank God for the printing of this card to give it the status of Supreme Dragon main deck monster for years. Otherwise, I doubt we would have seen his face in these parts, which is a shame because this thing looks sick as hell. I'm sure some 13-year-old used this as his logo for his up-and-coming metal band he and his friends had in his parents' garage. I mean, not saying I was that kid or anything, but I certainly would have been if I could play the drums. Royal Straight Slasher is another card we've seen before, and it still doesn't make me any less angry. You need a specific spell to summon him, 3 specific monsters on the field, so nothing we haven't seen before with crazy anime cards, even though it needs Queen's Knight, King's Knight, and Jack's Knight specifically. But the new quality comes in with its effect. You have to send 5 monsters of different levels between 1 and 5 to kill every card on the opponent's side of the field. What in the hell could you even do with cards of such varying levels? I couldn't get it to work with Synchrons, Lightsworn, or even Lavels, just because this card requires you to build your deck around it to even make it onto the field. And when you do, you have to send 5 worthless cards from your deck to the graveyard to do anything with it. Sure, it nukes only your opponent's side of the board, but if a card can nuke the board and doesn't do it because the deck is always terrible and not suited for it, does it really nuke the board? We don't even consider his field nuking effect for this list, but I just wanted to keep it in mind because even after the BS of trying to make Poker Knights work when Jack's Knight's a level 5 in real life for no reason other than to spite me, this card still expects you to play 5 Garnets in your deck immediately after getting rid of your Phase 1 Garnets used to summon the thing. It's just asking too much. It's just asking too much, before and after it's summoned. And I would like to announce that this spell card finally works on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. I would like to, but it's still bugged, so it's literally unsummonable in the only program that matters for anime cards. I can't even test the thing right, damn! Finally, our newest inclusion on the list, some fresh meat. This one is a funny inclusion, mainly because the real-life version is one of the very few Xyz monsters with an effect impossible for itself to activate, that being Thunder Spark Dragon. In real life, you have to have other cards to give it material so it can actually use the Detach 5 effect, which no one has done in the history of competitive or even casual Yu-Gi-Oh! In the anime? Nah man, you just have to summon the damn thing with 5 level 4s. Why? Why would you do this when you can just make an unstoppable link board with a Boral Dragon, something, anything else that you would want from monster spamming once they hit the grave or something like that? Just anything other than this. I can't think of a case where you would bet your life on a bottomless, but here we are. Getting 5 level 4s out is hard enough, but this is one of the least optimal ways to use them aside from link summoning until you physically can't anymore, and all you're left with is a proxy dragon and going, oh, I guess I had my turn. This card baffles me like it baffled everyone who opened it out of a pack all those years ago, and something tells me that won't stop anytime soon. Coming in at number 7, it's the main plot monsters of the Dark Signer arc, the Dark Synchros. Yes, all of them. Dark Synchros as a concept are anti-synchros. These have high-level Dark Tuners and use lower-level monsters to make these beasts, because you take the non-tuner monster and subtract the high-level Dark Tuner to make a negative-level synchro. It makes sense, but it's just clunky. While yes, some have good effects from 100 Eyes to Dark Diviner, and others are bad like Z-Man the Ape King and Dark Flat Top, herein lies one of the core issues. You need to get the Dark Tuner out first. Keep in mind that these Dark Tuners range from level 2, 3, and 5 on the low end, where you're basically unable to summon anything you'd actually want, to 8, 9, and 10 on the high end. All you could really even do is special summon them from the graveyard, and even then you need to think about the levels in reverse in order to think about what you actually want to make. Like with 100 Eyes, you need a monster and a Dark Tuner to become level -8, and the best case of that is Nightmare Hand, who specials a level 2 from hand on summon, or Doom Submarine and a level 1. The bottom line is, you would need immense reprogramming of your brain in order to even function with these. It does not even help that the worst one, Divac, was so lacking tied with his Dark Tuner being level 2, they needed an entirely different spell just to make Z-Man by making Ape Fighter be treated as a negative level. And it's that concept of support that makes this number 7 on the list. Hey look! Another familiar face graces us with his annoyance in summoning conditions. It's the final boss of the strongest duelist Yuya, not the Arc 5 manga, sorry for the mistake. It's Odd Eye's Revolution Dragon. We've been over him plenty, but to summarize, he needs all 3 of the OG U-Boy dragons to summon, meaning you somehow need to make a deck that can get Dark Rebellion, Starving Venom, and Clearwing out on the same board in Master Rule 4. Even in Master Rule 3, this is a chore that you would need to be done through multiple turns. While yes, you do get a powerful effect, you're probably winning if you're able to make a board with all 3 of them at once. Let's take a theoretical approach. Even if you have Destrudo and Darkworm in Graveyard for the Clearwing, you have a Super Poly for the Venom, and discard fodder to make the opponent's Dark monsters into the Dragon, and let's argue that, I don't know, you have a Hunder family in your hand for Rebellion, who cares? You could easily do any one of those pieces, but you'd also need a way to make a Link 3 with all markers going down after you summon out the Darkworm in order to get out all 3 at once. And then it's assuming you also have Revolution, and you see where I'm going here? You would need either Mass Revival from Graveyard for it, or your opponent to be a literal child playing Solitaire for the first time if you were to make this combo go off effectively. It's just way too much work for a pretty good effect, all things considered. Let's also consider the fact, no, you can't normal summon it! I know the proxy doesn't say anything about that, but it's pretty indicative. Because, I mean, you just tribute the 2 dragons, and you wouldn't just special summon it by banishing all 3. Why would you do that? You don't need to do that. If you could normal summon it, you would have normal summoned it. And you could and you can't normal summon it. Don't put that in my comments. You can't normal summon this thing. If you could, it would be good. But you can't, so it shan't. Oh hey look, it's a snake minding its business. Or that's not a good snake. It's Divine Serpent Gech. You just have to pronounce it as if you're JonTron. A monster with the same major power, but a stupid condition to make it only useful in tag duels as you start with 16,000 life points, unless someone forgets to set it as such. We've all been there. So, to get the chain rolling, you need Orichalcos Cutora, where you pay 500 life points and proceed to crash it into a monster who then spawns Orichalcos Shuneros, and in proxy, his little army hands. Here's where it gets tricky. Shuneros gets attack based on the damage Cutora blocked when attacked/attacking. From there, Shuneros can attack, and he will lose attack based on the attack of what he attacks. Attack, 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 attack. When Shuneros gets destroyed by battle with his attack at 0, and having at least 10,000 life points, then you can summon Divine Serpent Gech. For all that work, you do get an infinite attacker who makes you lose all life points and your hand with a 10-card mill to attack and the condition to not lose the duel, but you better make sure you can end it that turn, because otherwise... Have you ever heard of a kaiju, my man? Or Dark Hole? Because this thing doesn't have protection. Oh my god! People were saying this is a broken anime boss monster. No, it's garbage! Have you tried summoning this thing out? Of course I've summoned it. I won my duel when I was going up against Quackibeiros with no Iron Core. Yeah, I'm sure you did. I am absolutely certain that is what transpired. Coming in at number 4 is a pair of monsters you need to enlist the help of artificial aging in order to make them just more than a beat stick in one of their cases? Thousand Dragon and Dark Sage are annoying in the sense that you need to get Baby Dragon or Dark Magician on the field, and then properly resolve the effect of Time Wizard in order to bust out these 2. So let's just put it this way. Have you ever, in your life, seen a summoning condition based on a coin flip? A summon! Not an effect. A summon. As in, you call heads, get heads, you get to summon a monster on top of your Raigeki. Keep in mind, failing with Time Wizard burns you and kills your board, so let's just keep that in mind. And what you get is a bigger beat stick from Baby Dragon, and Yami's abuse to that power, and Dark Sage getting a spell from the deck, which is neat, I guess, but you still need to play Dark Magician and also Time Wizard, for God's sake. Sure, it's a little easier if you play the anime version, which is a spell card in Duelist Kingdom, So, I mean, you could use that, but even then, it doesn't Raigeki, it just loses attack, so why? You just knew this big oaf was going to be on here. I'm pretty sure it's illegal in 49 states. West Virginia is an exception, as well as some parts of Georgia, but don't go to those parts. To not include this monster, as it would be a hate crime to those of his stature. Zushin, the Sleeping Giant, requires a level 1 normal monster to stay on the field for 10 of... Zushin, the Sleeping Giant, requires a level 1 normal monster to stay on field for 10 or more, if you're feeling saucy, of your turns to bring it out. And yet it was done all thanks to stall cards and stuff like that in order to make sure they could make him. Yeah, Mystic Mine. Just play this in Mystic Mine. It's easy, JCD. Don't you understand? It's not that hard. They go until turn 10. Why not? And all you get is a big boy with stupid protection and a status as a thing to make the crowd hate Team 5Ds because how dare they try to crush the dreams of the people despite being from the same social class and... Oh my god, this is real life, isn't it? 5Ds just predicted how human interactions work thanks to the internet. Oh my god! Crow's the type of motherfucker to shitpost on 4chan on the B board! Oh god, he just lost everything in Bitcoin, didn't he? Oh, Crow! Number 2 belongs to a monster that takes an incredible amount of work to make via its own effect, or... we'll get to it. 5-Headed Dragon is a level 12 ritual that takes Dragon Revival ritual to make. That is the spell that makes you have to waste 5 turns where you tribute a dark, earth, fire, wind, and water monster for it. Oh, and it doesn't matter if you lucked out with all 7 of those cards in the second turn, because you still have to wait 5 turns anyway, where you will still lose. Yeah, just bring up how Chaos Dragons could summon it in 2 turns, and usually they just didn't need to, because they just sent 5 good cards to the graveyard. And they didn't have to be, oh, I don't know, wind? What wind do you want in Chaos Dragons? What wind are you going to be playing for this? After all the wait, you get a one-sided nuke, but here's an idea. Just use Incantations. That's really the main reason he's at number 2, because he can be cheated out. Because he actually has a reason. He's only this high up because his intended summoning condition is so batshit insane. It's just off the wall. How do you... No, you don't do this. You can't even do this in a tag duel, where you're double decking. No, it's impossible. Don't do it. Stop it. Get some help. Our number 1 entry is something so terrible that's going to be a major subject of an entire video you're going to be seeing down the line. Much like the number 2 entry, this big dragon came out of nowhere with very little to impress, because Konami and the people behind the anime have no knowledge of the concept of planning ahead. The creature is Chimera Hydra Drive Dragrid. Not dragon, Dragrid, so that you sound... You're a Hydra Drive, Harry. One of the final threats given to Playmaker to face thanks to Big Bowman. This is apparently what Bowman made from the souls of all of Link Vrains. I'm gonna be honest, I stopped watching the show because it's bad, but that kind of makes me want to watch the show again, just it being so off-the-wall crazy. What does this massive dragon take to make? Nothing more than 5 Link monsters, not done, of different attributes. Yeah, that's gonna be that's a yikes hard pass from me, dog. This is nothing like a 3+ or 4+ links. No, all 5 slots have to be filled with links in an arrow with no soul charge, and they all have to be of different attributes. So I guess you can kind of make it easier with nightmares, because, you know, Phoenix is a fire, and Cerberus is an earth, and Mermaid's a water. Like, you can get around it a little bit, but even then, not happening. What do you get for all this hard work? It gets a counter on summon, and can roll a die by removing the counter to have the chance of summoning a Draghead monster from the extra deck of the attribute rolled. Or it would be if not for how it shuffles itself back and then rolls the die. So if you don't get a 2 or a 3, you just cry yourself to sleep knowing all your effort summoning the damn thing went down to waste. Thanks, Konami, for making Dragheads for Earth, Wind, and Light. Oh wait, sorry, you didn't do that! It's totally not like Bowman had those 3 Ignis as well! But no! Instead, we needed to get run over by Clock Dragon to set up another big threat, just so Playmaker can make Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid and win with his big meaty attack points. What a load! Get hyped for Hydra Drive, Dynasty of the Useless. Trust me, script is done. That's gonna be coming out soon. We have Dynasty of the Useless coming out once a week now, and oh boy, get ready for Hydra Drives. That's gonna be like 40 minutes. I hope you realize. I hope you all enjoy it when it comes out, because it's going to be pain to edit, and pain to actually look at these cards and go, huh, people actually thought these were good.